The following article includes allegations of self-harm, disordered eating, and addiction issues. Hollywood icon Angelina Jolie has undergone quite the evolution since she made her debut alongside her father, fellow Oscar winner Jon Voight, at the age of 7 in Lookin to Get Out, a comedy released to little fanfare in 1982. When people are looking for movies to watch during the Halloween season, their eyes are often turned to the horror genre. But what about the other emotional aspects of what many, including yours truly, considers the most wonderful time of the year? And more importantly, what about love? That's right, All Hallows Eve can be quite the time for some romance to be in the air. From doomed couples to those who found love because of their quirks and oddities, this holiday of monsters and ghouls can be a great time to explore some of cinema's greatest, and spookiest, romances. Morticia and Gomez Addams, the Addams Family. It's hard to discuss Halloween without mentioning these two haunting lovebirds. Though the Addams Family series is certainly one more for laughs than for the traditional creepy creeps of the season, it's always nice to see a couple that really accepts each other for who they are, frights and all. From the lovely tango dances that happen every few hours to the auctions that take their breath away to the nightly strolls through the graveyard, Morticia and Gomez make anything look romantic and glamorous. For the few that don't know of the existence of the Addams Family, the film adaptations are based on a famous cartoon series by Charles Addams and the 60s TV series of the same name, following the shenanigans of a family that finds the beauty in the creepy and spooky aspects of life. Though the cinematic version is focused on finding Gomez's long-lost brother Fester, what viewers look forward to seeing the most is the magical on-screen spark between Anjelica Huston and the late Raul Julia as the leaders of the clan. Obviously, there's a reason that many a meme and social media post is made in honor of the relationship goals these two unique individuals have set for fictional, and real-life, couples alike, because they embrace every bit of their weirdness and are proud of their love. When she returned to the big screen just over a decade later in the sci-fi sequel, Cyborg 2: Glass Shadow, she was a young woman ready to launch an assault on the film industry. Jolie became one of the biggest names in Tinseltown and is known all over the world for her humanitarian work today, but her path to the top was far from straightforward. And aren't we all looking for that, regardless of the time of year? Wallace and Jennifer, I married a witch. Have you ever felt like you're just cursed in the ways of love? That no matter who you meet or what you try to do, it never works out. Well, Wallace Woolley, Frederick March, might just be the champion for all of us who have been unlucky in love, except he has an actual excuse for the matter. You see, many years ago, Wallace's multi-great-grandfather was cursed by a family of witches to never find true love, and neither would his male heirs. But when thunder strikes and breaks the tree that the witch family's souls were tied to, including Veronica Lake's Jennifer, the true insanity begins. From love potions gone wrong, to the hilarious yet all too real political humor, I Married a Witch has a story and a couple that hits all the right spots. The actor and director has faced much hardship in her life, and, as an A-list celeb of many years, her troubles have largely been played out in the public eye. From her turbulent early years and her time as a Hollywood wild child to Brangelina's high-profile implosion and beyond, this is the tragic real-life story of Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie's Oscar-winning dad left when she was just a year old. It was apparently love at first sight when Jon Voight met actor Marceline Bertrand, Angelina Jolie's mother, at the Beverly Hills Hotel one evening. Neither Wallace or Jennifer are perfect individuals, and even though at times they can be insufferable to watch when we're first introduced to their odd ways, you end up rooting for them to win against the odds of magic and real-world struggles alike. When you learn that Lake and March didn't get along on set at all, their infectious chemistry becomes all the more amazing. Jenny and Eben, Portrait of Jenny, 1948. Everyone loves a good ghost story, especially one that is made with such care and compassion as the underrated classic Portrait of Jenny. I was quite taken with her, and in the conversation I said, "You know, I could have 2 children with you," Voight told Men's Journal, via Express. Starring Jennifer Jones and Joseph Cotten, this is a film that was clearly decades ahead of its time. She didn't blink, and neither did I. Take a bit of time travel, art, and lots of sentimentality, and you got this, David O. Sure enough, I had 2 children with that gal. Sadly, things didn't work out. Voight had an affair, and the fallout caused a lot of hurt and anger, he told Express. Selznick production that still looks as beautiful as ever. The story tells of a painter that encounters a young girl in Central Park, who becomes the subject of his art. It had a long-lasting impact on Jolie, who was still a baby when Voight and Bertrand separated. "I never thought I'd have children. I never thought I'd be in love. I never thought I'd meet the right person," Jolie told Elle in 2014. "Having come from a broken home, you kind of accept that certain things feel like a fairy tale, and you just don't look for them." She was credited as Angelina Jolie Voight in her first film, but 1982's Lookin' to Get Out would be the last time she'd use her dad's name professionally. Through their various meetings, even through a short span of time, Jenny appears to become slightly more mature. When she spoke to the Hollywood Reporter's Awards Chatter podcast in 2017, Jolie said that she dropped the Voight part because she didn't feel that close to her dad and wasn't comfortable being hired for a name. She reportedly went through an anorexic stage during high school. Angelina Jolie is one of those not-so-rare cases of a celebrity that wasn't very popular in high school. At least, that's how family friend Sis Rundle remembers it. Rundle was pals with Jolie's mother and claims to have been an occasional caregiver to the future star, who apparently had a torrid time at Beverly Hills High School. "They made fun of her because of her lips and the girls were mean to her," Rundle told Radar. "She has these broad shoulders and long legs, she moved like a gazelle." According to Rundle, Jolie's mother used to worry about her, and not just because she was getting bullied. Eventually, the artist falls so madly in love with the girl and wants to marry her, but she continues to tell him, "Wait till I am older." With her sudden change in age, plus the haunting look in her face whenever the sea is shown to her or brought to her attention, something isn't right. But what is right here is the romance. Truly, if there ever was a movie to stand as a perfect 101 on how to create mysteriously haunting romantic tales, this one will always nail it. "Marceline got scared that she wasn't eating," said Rundle, who claimed that she carried Jolie into the hospital during an anorexic stage she was going through. Jolie's older brother James Haven once admitted that she doesn't pay much attention to food, and he became extremely worried about her after the death of their mother in 2007. Jolie admitted that the ordeal had indeed left her looking thinner than usual. "I've always been lean and this year I lost my mom and I've gone through a lot," she said, via London's Evening Standard. Jones and Cotton portray this couple in such a unique way. She told Metro that she was getting into good shape in preparation for her Marvel role in 2019. But rumors of more weight loss surfaced the following year, with one insider telling Radar that the actor was barely 100 pounds. If you are struggling with an eating disorder, or know someone who is, help is available. Because of the changing age gap between the two, their dynamic and chemistry always seems to shift. Their passions intensify, as does the conflict between them. It's a journey that still rings true, no matter when you view this spooky tale. Continue reading the 10 spookiest movie romances greater than cool posts from around the web. Death and Grazia. Death Takes a Holiday, 1934. Oh look, it's Frederick March again. But he's not playing a normal modern man this time around. Visit the National Eating Disorders Association website or contact NEDA's live helpline at 1-800-931-2237. You can also receive 24/7 crisis support via text. Send NEDA to 741 to 741. Angelina Jolie's fascination with knives led to self-harm. According to Jon Voight's brother, Chip Taylor, the actor became real concerned when he learned that his estranged teenage daughter had started cutting herself via Angelina Jolie. The biography, something Jolie has never denied. In Death, March plays, well, death itself. In fact, she's been shockingly open about her fascination with knives, of which she's an avid collector. One night, he spooks a rich family on their way home, and wishes to take a holiday in the mortal world. She once told Barbara Walters that she utilized knives in the bedroom during her first relationship, though she's also used them to self-harm in darker times, the actor has revealed. "I went through a period that when I felt trapped I would cut myself, okay." Quotes her as saying, "I have a lot of scars." In the aforementioned Barbara Walters interview, via ABC, Jolie confirmed that she stopped self-harming when she adopted her first son, Maddox, from Cambodia in 2002. Within that time, he meets the beautiful and kind-hearted Grazia, Evelyn Venable, a soon-to-be bride, who is more frightened by marriage than what lies beyond her own life. Speaking to Cosmopolitan the following year, the actor revealed that her knives were now out of reach at home, but they're not gone. Together, these two connect in a short span of time, and find romance even among the creepiest of circumstances. Though it sometimes feels a little stage-bound because of its theater roots, Death Takes a Holiday stands as a favorite among many classic movie fans simply because it is unabashedly romantic and doesn't care how foolish its concepts may seem. And though it has one of the tiniest of runtimes in feature film history, it embraces its story with a lovely sense of whimsy, and the same can be said of its leading romantic couple. Eric, The Phantom and Christine, The Phantom of the Opera, 1989. There are a few things that come to my mind immediately during the Halloween season: Robert Englund movies and The Phantom of the Opera. And yes, when I was 14, I cut myself and went through that phase, and I haven't revisited that phase and I'm not going to, especially now that I have Maddox. As soon as he was old enough, however, Maddox was allowed to start his own little collection. And whomever was the mad genius that decided to mix these two things together, I salute you. In this adaptation of the cult-loved Gaston Leroux novel, which has been previously adapted for film and stage several times, Christine is a modern girl wanting to become a famous opera singer. During an audition, she gets hit in the head, and begins to remember memories of what we are supposed to assume is a past life, where she was an opera singer in Victorian-era England. My mom took me to buy my first daggers when I was 11 or 12 and I've already bought Maddox some things, Jolie told W in 2008. If you or someone you know is struggling with mental health, please contact the crisis text line by texting HOME to 741741. Call the National Alliance on Mental Illness helpline at 1-800-950-NAMI, 6264, or visit the National Institute of Mental Health website. She started acting to help her mom pay the bills. Angelina Jolie probably didn't even know what a bill was when she made her movie debut alongside her dad in 1982's Lookin to Get Out. But when she returned to acting as a young adult, she was very much aware of what it took to keep a household running. There, a mysterious composer teaches her to sing, but also has some fun after-school activities, like skinning his victims alive and sewing their flesh to his rotting body. Add all that in with other time travel elements, haunted floppy disks, and the devil, and you got yourself one heck of an oddly romantic slasher movie. Sure, this might not be the best way to introduce yourself to this famous, somewhat bizarre tale of obsession. The Broadway musical or the classic silent film adaptation are famous for a reason. But this movie is all about that Robert Englund performance. You really understand his creepy adoration for Christine. The actor and director stopped by The Hollywood Reporter to discuss her career on its Awards Chatter podcast in 2017, and she revealed that she only re-entered the industry because she needed to start helping her single mother, who also appeared in Lookin to Get Out, playing the cameo role Girl in Jeep, make ends meet at home. When I started acting. And though he never really redeems himself in any way towards the end, his chilling rendition of the classic disfigured character makes this a must-watch. Edith and Sir Thomas, Crimson Peak, 2015, Edith Cushing, Mia Wasikowska, is a heroine destined, even by her Hammer horror-inspired last name, to go through some sort of intense, blood-soaked journey. It was a job, Jolie said on the podcast. It was a creative job. But, you're young, and you don't know exactly who you are, and yet you also get a microphone in front of your face, and you're 17, 18, people asking for your opinions and you haven't formed those yet, and you shouldn't form them yet, completely. Jolie quickly realized that following her folks into the family business wasn't going to be a walk in the park. But of course, the ghostly mentions of a place called Crimson Peak, courtesy of her dead mother, never seemed to signal to her that Sir Thomas Sharpe, Tom Hiddleston, might be a romance worth avoiding. She managed to make more than enough money to help her mother out, but the rigors of celebrity life were already taking a toll on the young starlet. Beware of Crimson Peak, is what she's told, but it should be more like, watch out for the hot British guy who will break your heart. Yes, Crimson Peak isn't the most perfect of Guillermo del Toro creations, but its passionate fanbase, which includes yours truly, has embraced its romantic elements and its clear nods to both Gothic literature and the 60s European horror cinema.
I was miserable, she admitted. And when it comes to the central couple of the story, Edith and Thomas are definitely a pairing to examine, especially when certain truths are revealed to the more innocent and wide-eyed of the two. Edith is intelligent and bold in her life choices, but she is also a hopeless romantic. Sir Thomas Sharpe is a young but possibly shady businessman, who clearly has been in and out of failed romances, but has never felt the actual kind of deep, emotional connection that he does with Edith. I was completely unhappy. She fell into a dangerous depression playing troubled supermodel Gia Karanji. Angelina Jolie married her first husband, Hackers co-star Johnny Lee Miller, in 1996, but she grew apart from him and everyone else in her life when she starred in 1998's Gia, an HBO TV movie about tragic supermodel, Gia Karanji. They're both broken in some way by their pasts and are trying to mend the pieces. And though these lovers might be lost, their path to discovering their chemistry is a treat to behold. Even if it's soaked in blood. Laura Hunt and all her male suitors. Laura, 1944. Laura tells the story of a detective McPherson, who is called up one night to investigate the murder of the title character, Laura Hunt. Gia has enough similarities to me that I figured this would either be a purge of all my demons or it was really going to mess with me, Jolie told Entertainment Weekly at the time, via AP. He meets various witnesses and begins to learn her story, so much so that he falls madly in love with the idea of her. Sadly, the latter came true. The actor became suicidal making the movie and even came up with a plan to end her life guilt-free. This is going to sound insane, but there was a time I was going to hire somebody to kill me, Jolie told IMDb, via The Herald. But as with many wonderfully written mysteries, there are unexpected turns around every corner. Though typically referred to as a film noir, Laura is one of those movies that can be also categorized as a real-life horror. A girl becoming a deadly obsession of multiple gentlemen. With suicide comes all the guilt of people around you thinking they could have done something. And even if the character of Laura Hunt isn't exactly the most innocent of protagonists, it's hard to not gain some sympathy for her compared to other femme fatales, especially when you see the individuals she gets involved with. There's the ever-creepy Waldo, a much older man that shapes Laura into the woman she becomes, followed by Shelby, played by horror icon Vincent Price, who keeps all his lies under his sleeve, and then McPherson, who uses her painting as the only real clue to the figure he's fallen for. There aren't any vampires or werewolves here, but there are certainly plenty of the ghosts that haunt our daily lives. The threats tied to Laura's romances scare me more than the typical monster. Continue reading the 10 spookiest movie romances greater than cool posts from around the web. Misses with somebody being murdered, nobody takes some kind of guilty responsibility. Luckily, the hitman she tried to hire had a heart. De Winter and Maxim. Rebecca, 1940, a young girl, Joan Fontaine, travels as a companion for hire, and meets a handsome, rich widower named Maxim de Winter, Sir Laurence Olivier, who sweeps her off her feet. According to Jolie, the man insisted that she think the whole thing over for a month. The two eventually marry, making the shy beauty the new Mrs. de Winter. A future of bliss and peaceful tranquility seems to be ahead for these lovebirds, until they return to Maxim's home, where and after a month other things changed in my life and I was surviving again, she said. The overwhelmingly positive response to Gia, Jolie won a Golden Globe for the film, was ultimately what helped her get better. Suddenly it seemed like people understood me, Jolie told Rolling Stone. Somehow life changed, via Made in Atlantis. If you or anyone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK, 8255. Angelina Jolie has taken just about every drug possible. Angelina Jolie has a history of hard drug use that she's made little effort to hide at times. Heroin has been very close to me in my life, she once said, via Vanity Fair, and it's far from the only drug she's dabbled with. De Winter learns of a shadow that looms over the entirety of her new home, the memory of Maxim's first wife, Rebecca. Though it is easy to grasp the romance between these two in Daphne du Maurier's novel, Alfred Hitchcock perfectly balances the bond between this emotional couple with stunning visuals and assured direction, making the moments in which the creepy housekeeper Ms. Danvers tries to ruin their love all the more powerful.
Dracula and Mina, Bram Stoker's Dracula, 1992. Though many an adaptation has been made of this classic tale, nothing beats the perfect mixture of romance and scares like Francis Ford Coppola's take on Dracula. With two excellent performances from Winona Ryder and Gary Oldman, this rendition of the vampire masterpiece focuses on the dynamic between Mina and the tortured Prince of Darkness, putting their relationship front and center. Jolie admitted to having done just about every drug possible, during one particularly candid interview in 1998, per the Daily Mail. Rather than being a young girl being seduced for her beauty and virginal appeal, Mina and Dracula are tied together by fate and a past that haunts the film from beginning to end. Sure, the hammy performances from Keanu Reeves and Anthony Hopkins might make this adaptation hard to swallow at times, But there's something about Ryder and Oldman's chemistry, along with the incredible costumes designs by the late Eiko Ishioka and musical score by Wojciech Kilar, that make this one of those standout adaptations. Mina and Dracula's love is an odd one, but their passion and connection is still hard to dismiss 25 years later. Seth and Veronica, The Fly, 1986, David Cronenberg's remake of The Fly might be one of the scariest movies of all time. Coke, heroin, ecstasy, LSD, everything, she reportedly said. I remember taking LSD before I went to Disneyland. I started thinking about Mickey Mouse being a short, middle-aged man in a costume who hates his life. An accidental experiment that destroys your human flesh slowly bit by bit, transforming you into an inhuman monster? That's a concept that I want to slap a big old nope across. But one thing I can always get behind in this version is the relationship between Veronica, Gina Davis, and Seth, Jeff Goldblum. Honestly, just take a second to imagine the scenario. One night, you're meeting this dashing yet slightly intense guy at a party, and a few weeks later, after a lot of back and forth about you being in a relationship with him, he's turning into a man-fly hybrid. Those drugs can be dangerous if you don't go into it positively. Jolie went on to say that she had stopped using said drugs long ago, but that wasn't true according to the man who claims to be her former supplier. In 2014, convicted drug dealer Franklin Meyer released a video of Jolie looking worse for wear that he claims he shot with her permission during a drop-off at her New York pad in 1999. Angie was a client of mine for several years, he told National Enquirer. I sold her heroin and cocaine. Meyer also claimed that Jolie, who's on a phone call in the clip, was discussing a family issue with her father. Yes, this rollercoaster romance should have you intrigued. But the reason these two work so well together as an on-screen couple, especially when compared to the 1958 version, is that they clearly have defined personalities. The actor took legal action against the Daily Mail for using the video, The Times later revealed. If you or anyone you know is struggling with addiction issues, help is available. Sure, a romantic aura floats around the original, but Veronica and Seth seem like they have a lot more at stake because they feel like an actual couple. Painful and thought-provoking, this film nails the romance just as well as it does the horror. Cool posts from around the web. Visit the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration website or contact SAMHSA's National Helpline at 1-800-662-HELP, 4357. Angelina Jolie knows she's lucky to be alive according to the man who claims to be Angelina Jolie's ex-dealer. The superstar actor took drugs right before a big promotional interview during the height of her Hollywood wild child phase. One-time heroin peddler Franklin Meyer told Life and Style magazine that Jolie was high when she sat down opposite Charlie Rose to talk about her film, Girl, Interrupted, for which she won Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. She'd taken coke, Meyer alleged during a 2010 interview with the mag, via Page 6, adding, "She did the show and then she came back over after." When 60 Minutes caught up with Jolie in Budapest the following year, she admitted to veteran CBS correspondent Bob Simon that she was dancing with the devil during her hard partying days. "I went through heavier, darker times and I survived them," the resilient actor said from the picturesque Hungarian capital, where part of her film In the Land of Blood and Honey was shot. "I didn't die young, so I am very lucky. There are other artists and people that didn't survive certain things. For many reasons, I shouldn't be here." Jolie went on to say that she took too many chances with her life back then, and she came close to too many dangerous things as a result of that reckless behavior. "I still have that side of me," she added, "it's just in its place now." She briefly reconciled with her dad when they worked on Tomb Raider together. Jon Voight played Angelina Jolie's long-lost, presumed dead father Lord Richard Croft in 2001's Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, sharing the screen with her in an emotional dream sequence. Jolie said that working on the video game adaptation together gave them a chance to engage in some real bonding time, during an interview with Radio Times magazine, though the ceasefire didn't last very long. "We seemed to understand each other and it was fun, but afterwards he returned quickly to old habits of being judgmental," the actor said, via the Irish Examiner. "It all started to go wrong again right before Jolie left the country on a United Nations mission," she said. According to Jolie, Voight decided to come along to the airport with her, and on the ride over he handed his daughter a mysterious letter. He said, "This is my truth. This is unchanging," Jolie recalled. "I was unaware of what he'd written and said, "That's wonderful. I love you. See you later." Then I opened the letter. He'd written I was a bad person. I was upset and thought of 100 replies, and then decided I don't value this person's opinion, so it's okay. Ouch. As if that didn't make her position clear enough, Jolie added, "I no longer see us as father and daughter." Unsurprisingly, Voight didn't reprise his role in the 2003 sequel, Lara Croft Tomb Raider: The Cradle of Life. Her father's unforgivable interview with Access Hollywood could have been very costly. Angelina Jolie separated from her second husband, Billy Bob Thornton, in 2002, around 3 to 4 months after they adopted Maddox together. The pair met on the set of 1999's Pushing Tin, and got hitched in Las Vegas the following year, becoming major tabloid fodder in the process, though that's to be expected when a couple starts wearing matching lockets smeared with each other's blood. Thornton, it turns out, just wasn't ready for adopting, Jolie said. She would later call the whole thing tragic during a chat with Vanity Fair. She quickly regrouped and prepared for life as a single mom, but she was dealt another blow when her father took part in a highly publicized TV interview that potentially jeopardized her recent adoption, via Entertainment Weekly. A few months after Jolie and Thornton called it quits, Jon Voight told Access Hollywood that he knew the marriage was doomed and that his daughter had some serious mental problems. When Jolie, who legally dropped the name Voight in the aftermath of his tone-deaf interview, sat down with Barbara Walters the following year, she was still angry about her father's comments. "The most difficult thing, in him doing that, is that it could have affected my relationship with my child," she said, via The Guardian. "They could have decided, he's right, she's crazy, let's remove that child from her custody. And that's unforgivable." Angelina Jolie doesn't trust anyone. It's hardly surprising considering her complicated history with her father and the shady circumstances in which she and Brad Pitt got together, but Angelina Jolie has admitted to having major trust issues. "I don't trust anyone," she told Vogue in 2007, via Jolie Pitt Press Archive. "This is going to make you think that maybe I should get some therapy, but trust is such a bizarre word." The actor revealed that she was even wary about putting too much faith in those closest to her. "I'd like to say that I trust my mother, but I also don't know if she might do something that she thinks is in my best interest," Jolie said. "I trust that Brad will never do anything. I don't know. I don't trust anybody completely." Her faith in Pitt would be tested when rumors of an affair with Allied co-star Marion Cotillard emerged a few years after they tied the knot. Rumors that a source, described by Page Six as being well-placed, claimed were indeed accurate. According to The Insider, Jolie hired a spy to spy on her hubby as he filmed the World War II pic in the UK. She felt that he was fooling around with her on the set, and it turns out, he was, the source claimed, though no infidelity was ever proven. The actual reason for the split, Jolie later confirmed to Vogue India, was the well-being of my family, she said, adding, "It was the right decision." She underwent preventative surgery when doctors discovered a faulty gene in 2013. Angelina Jolie revealed via an op-ed in The New York Times that she had undergone a double mastectomy after doctors discovered she was at high risk of cancer. "I carry a faulty gene, BRCA1, which sharply increases my risk of developing breast cancer and ovarian cancer," she explained. "My doctors estimated that I had an 87% risk of breast cancer and a 50% risk of ovarian cancer, although the risk is different in the case of each woman. The procedure was like a scene out of a science fiction film, but Jolie had her reconstructive breast surgery and doesn't feel any less of a woman," she said. 2 years later, when blood tests revealed a potential sign of early cancer, Jolie had her ovaries and fallopian tubes removed as a preventative measure, and she once again documented her surgery experience in The New York Times. "It is not easy to make these decisions," she wrote. "But it is possible to take control and tackle head on any health issue." The actor being so open had a global and long-lasting impact on the number of women coming forward to ask about genetic testing, studies have shown. Having women with strong family histories of cancer, seeking counseling and education, and in many cases, surgery, based on having the role modeling of Angelina Jolie can be very helpful, Dr. Robin Anderson of the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center said. Angelina Jolie reportedly became isolated following her split from Brad Pitt. Angelina Jolie made headlines during a trip to Pakistan in 2010, and not because of the stellar work she was doing as the UN's Goodwill Ambassador. The A-lister was in the country to help victims of flooding, but it was an offhand comment she made about Brad Pitt that ended up filling column inches back home. "I don't have a lot of friends to talk to," the Oscar winner admitted to reporters, via the Daily Star. "Brad is really the only person I talk to." Rumors about Jolie being isolated in Hollywood began to pop up as soon as Pitt was no longer in the picture, and even the star's estranged step-grandmother was expressing concern about her apparent lack of a social circle. Speaking to the Daily Mail in 2016, Elke Bertrand said that Jolie didn't have many people left in her life, after her third divorce, adding, "I know she's got her father, but I don't know how close they are." You'd think that the coronavirus pandemic would have made things worse for Jolie in terms of feeling isolated, but sources say that she actually began reconnecting with old pal and fellow actor Ellen Pompeo during lockdown. Their kids are really close, one insider told Us Weekly in 2021. Angie has a tight support system that largely consists of her household staff, her brother, James, and a handful of very trusted friends. She's missed her mother terribly in recent years. The one person that Angelina Jolie would have loved in her corner during her divorce and the global pandemic that followed is her mom. It was Marceline Bertrand's death from cancer at the age of 56 that led to Jolie getting her preventative, potentially life-saving surgeries, and the Oscar winner has always tried to follow the example Bertrand set as a mother. When the Maleficent star gave an interview to Elle France in 2017, she was in the midst of her split from Brad Pitt and missing her mother more than ever. "She would have thrived as a grandmother," Jolie said, via W. "I would give anything for her to be with me at this time. I've needed her." The A-lister opened up about her late mom again in 2021, revealing that Bertrand was a very gentle mother and that she's exactly the same with her 6 kids, Maddox, Pax, Zahara, Shiloh, and the twins, Knox and Vivian. "I can be many things in my work and in life, but I am very warm and gentle with my children," Jolie told the Sydney Morning Herald. "That kindness and warmth is a foundation that's unbelievably important." The kids apparently returned that kindness during the coronavirus pandemic, helping her around the home during the COVID-19 lockdown. "I feel like I'm lacking in all the skills to be a traditional stay-at-home mom," Jolie joked during an interview with British Vogue. Has Angelina Jolie finally made up with her dad for good? Angelina Jolie had a huge falling out with her father after she split with her second husband, Billy Bob Thornton, and it took another divorce to bring them back together again. Jon Voight stepped up during Jolie's highly publicized separation from Brad Pitt, not only for his daughter but for his grandkids, too. "He's been very good at understanding they needed their grandfather at this time," a grateful Jolie told Vanity Fair in 2017. "I had to do a therapy meeting last night and he was just around." According to Jolie, she's drilled her dad on how to be a cool grandpa who's creative, something he doesn't have a problem with. Voight is still actively working in Hollywood. In recent years he's become known for his turn as ex-con Mickey Donovan, father to Liev Schreiber's Ray Donovan in the now-cancelled show of the same name, and when he appeared on CBS Sunday Morning in 2021, he revealed that he'd love the chance to appear in one of his daughter's films. "Yeah, she's really remarkable," Voight said, praising Jolie's work as a director. "She would be tough, but I would love to work with her. He may be one of the root causes of her tragic past, but, for the time being, at least, Angelina Jolie's dad seems fully committed to helping her achieve a bright future."